Hello, in this tutorial video we're going to go through adding staff and looking at the resources when it comes to the users within the Road Direct system. So up the top here we've got resources and now we're looking at users. When we log in we generally land on the calendar. Just quickly show you how I got to there again. So we're on the calendar, go up the top along to resources, click that. And then if for some reason it's not sitting on users, you would just change to that tab. In the resources, obviously we've got the vehicle and the users. That's the two primary functions of that. So we're going to first go through users. If you want to look at the vehicles, go to the vehicles tab and there's a wee YouTube video to watch on that. Specifically, we'll keep to the users on this one. Okay, straight away we can see we've got usernames down the left-hand column, names. If they've got any industry quals and expiry dates, put those in, because what that's going to do is on the calendar, which I'll show you in a second, will give you a prompt when you're using those staff on job if they have expired. So once you set them in here, the system's kind of working for you and reminding you of those things that we're all trying to hold in our head. Any licenses, qualifications, access level, that's very important. We'll delve into that in a second. And then we've got some other things that are common in the industry, like are they signed off or competent to work over 65k roads, so i.e. 70, 80, 100s, or only on your low speeds, 30, 40s and 50s. If they're available TTM work, i.e. you don't want to be able to select on a job for every reason because they're office, then you wouldn't select that. And this is just, other things like can they drive mobile or TMAs. So we've just given you a palette of things. Think of it as your competencies. If you want to share that to someone who's asking, can you give us a list of your competencies for this contract or job or a client, you can then export it to Excel sheet by hitting the export button, and then you can manipulate that sheet however you want. There's a competencies guide in here if you want to read some more, and of course we can add a user by clicking the little plus button here. If we need to go into an existing user and change anything, it's the wee dot menu, view user, edit it how you please. Also in here you can reset their password for them if they've forgotten. And if somebody's temporary leaving and you want to disable them, you can disable them, and then if they come back in 6 months time you can re-enable them really quickly. Deleting, they're gone, never coming back. Disable means they're temporary gone, I don't want to be billed for that person. Disabling does that. So there's a few other things worth having a wee look in here, but just go into those in your own time, like user documents. I can add any other form of training and quals, and I can keep all that user document in the one place instead of using a folder system in your computer. And from here I could see the availability, but you would traditionally see the staff scheduler for that reason. So whatever we set up here, it's going to really interact well with the calendar up the top right, and it's also going to sync in with your staff scheduler, and we'll show you why very soon. You can also use the filter if you just want to search for a particular person. Right, let's get into the nitty gritty. What we all want to know is how to add a new user. We click the plus. All this is pretty self-explanatory. I'm not going to tell you what first and last name means. A couple of things that you do need to be mindful of. Whatever the nickname, if you want to use a short name on the calendar display so you're not seeing big full long names, you can use a short name there. Everything else is kind of there if you want to know. We've got a wee vaccinated thing, but COVID's sort of disappearing. People aren't using that anymore. But if you want to know more about anything, just click over the wee eye hovers, date of birth, the password that you're going to give them, and then you could send that to them. The main thing here is the access level, and anyone out on the road, your TTM workers, or your TTM workers, TMOs, STMSs, anyone road crew, really is basic or basic plus. Now, the difference between basic and basic plus is basic is they'll only ever see their jobs when they load the calendar. Now, basic plus will see their jobs plus other people. Now, to answer that best, think, how do you have things right now? What's your current situation? If you've got a whiteboard or a digital system now which shows their job and they can also see other jobs, then make them basic plus. If for some reason you don't want them to see your jobs, then just keep them basic. That's the only difference. They both can do all the other functions in the system. I like to think how you're doing it now, keep it the same. And basic plus is handy for those really clever ones where maybe you want them to see the other jobs and they go, hey, Jimmy Bob, I've seen the job tomorrow, his truck's too small. So that, it's up to you how you skin the cat there. So other thing is the TMP designer, your planners, there's two options. Again, if you only had them as a TMP designer and not the plus, they'll only see their jobs on the dashboard. If you want them to see their jobs in the other planners, plus. So how you would generally share that information now in a tangible way, try and mimic that in here. Super admin really is they can get in there and do everything in the system, see financial stuff, mess with your settings. Now, we will give you that one, and that person is probably this person watching this video setting up the rest, because they can add new users. If you can't add new users or restrictives to some parts of the system, because you're probably not super admin, talk to your senior administrator, your manager at your company. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory. If they're a TTM manager operations, it's the ops one, and that access level is very much the same as if somebody's doing invoicing, and very similar to the planners as well. Anyway, that's the main catch of it. If you want to read more, find out more, click on the wee green buttons or reach out. Everything else, go to a bit of effort to put in, email, phone number, so when other users are using the system, they can click the wee call button. Competencies, set them up, quals, expiry dates, licenses, and all that. Now, it's pretty self-explanatory. It is worth taking some time to do things in there. The reason being, if you set them up really good there, if we go back to the calendar, and let's say someone's loaded a job to the board, and of course when you load a job to the board, you'll know the speed and a lot of stuff about the environment. So then when you go to your staff picker to allocate someone to the job, you can then see what skills they have, and you can call them and all that sort of stuff. What's even better is if you plonk them on a job and it goes, oh, you've got to say that job had a vehicle that's manual, and you've set this person up to be can only drive automatic. It's going to remind you of those things. If you've set up that there should be only working on low speed roads and it sees that it's high speed, it's going to remind you of those things. So you can see why this is really powerful. And if they show up in red, like some of these users, it's reminding you that their qualification is going to expire. So that's why it's worth it. Also, when you set them up in the staff scheduler, same sort of logic, but going to the effort to put in their contracted hours, because, for example, Alana here, as the week goes and the clock's up hours, it'll tell you if they're going to meet their hours. So when you go to staff scheduling and go, oh, they've done their hours, they didn't, and everyone's on different hours, so then your senior people in the company can track that. So that's why you want to go to a bit of effort there. So let's go back to the resources. That's pretty much the general idea of things. Vehicles, if you want to know more about that, go to that tab now and you'll see a different video. Thank you so much for watching, and for anything else, just reach out to our technical support at any time. Thank you very much for watching.